Hi, welcome to Fairbanks, Alaska. My name is Robbie Herrick, and today I'm going to give you a review of the Fastlane model endless pool, or as I like to call it, the Western Hemisphere's farthest north outdoor aquatic training facility. So this is a pool that I bought in 2015. It's about 2 years old. It's now August 2017, so I can't really speak to any changes in the design or assembly of this pool since 2015. The reason that I'm doing this review is I wanted to do a review of the Fastlane pool from the perspective of kind of a out of shape ex-competitive swimmer, so somebody that swims, say, a 120 per 100-yard pace in a typical distance set workout. I've noticed that most of the reviews that are available online are either from a paid ex-Olympian spokesman or people who are really just recreational swimmers that aren't going to crank this thing up to near its maximum speed. So a little bit about the pool and how it arrives and how it's assembled and things like that. It arrived in a 4x4x8 wooden crate, which contained, I guess about 10 individual boxes inside. The total weight of material was probably a few hundred pounds. Um, the From the owner's manual and kind of the online advertisement, they at least I got the impression that you could assemble this thing in over the course of a weekend. Perhaps a professional contractor could do that, but for me, this took overall, I'd say, about 40 hours or so of labor to assemble the pool, and then probably another 15 hours to get the wood and cut the wood and assemble the pool cover that goes on top of it as well. Um, Overall, the it this is definitely much more challenging than, say, assembling IKEA furniture. I am certainly not a professional handyman, but I'd say I've done a fair share of modest home improvement projects, and this was quite a challenging effort. Some of the challenges, the all of the parts were there when they arrived, but they were not quite organized in the boxes as the user's manual indicated. So there was a lot of, if you can, it's good to, if you can do so, it would be good for you to spread all of the parts out in a large area like a driveway, and make sure that you have all the parts all the way down the line before you start and know which ones are which. Um, Another complication was that there were, I think they continually are tweaking the design of the of parts of the endless pool, and so um, there were some slight discrepancies between exactly what was in the user's manual and and what I had in place. So it took a little figuring out, but everything came together and did get assembled. Also, if you're not if you have not done a lot of work with PVC, I recommend spending $10 or so and getting some additional PVC parts and do some practicing putting PVC joints together. The way this thing is set up, once you really can't figure out whether your PVC parts leak until you've got enough water in the pool that they're coming out of these holes in the side of the pool, at which point it then becomes a real pain in the ass to then drain the pool and fix any leaks that you have in the PVC. So, fixing leaks in the PVC, which I had a couple, was quite challenging once there's water in the pool. So, if at all possible, get some practice on PVC before you, and make sure you understand what you're doing, and try and figure out some way to test the waterproof nature of all these connections before you actually fill the pool, if there's any way to do so. Another thing I should mention is that the electrical hookup is non-trivial. It requires a 30 amp 220 volt 30 amp connection, basically like a dryer connection. If you're I don't think I would be able to do it myself. I had a friend who is pretty much an expert at being an electrician hook this up. It required putting a breaker in the breaker box, and fortunately that this house at one point had a lot of hookups for had an extra dryer hookup basically, so it was reasonably easy for this person to hook this up. But if you're doing it from scratch, you can figure probably $200 or $300 of an electrician's time in order to get things set up here. And you can see where it plugs in, and there's also a kill switch there, which is up to code here in Alaska. Let's see, and another point that I should make is that the pump here, this was not in the owner's manual, but I was told after a year and a half this circulating pump failed, and I was told to make sure that thing is level when it was still under warranty, so they gave me a replacement. This pump, I am told, should be level when it's used. If you're looking at as we're scanning the pool, you may notice that I have also installed some optional stuff, which is basically the insulation. This up here, even in the summers, the daily average temperature is typically over the cycle of the day it can be around 60. In the winter, the reason I got a Fastlane instead of one of the more expensive permanently installed models is that I wanted to be able to move it from outside into my garage during the winter, and it does fit in a typical garage parking space. And we keep our garage at about 55 degrees during the winter. You'll also notice that there's a bunch of plastic sheeting that's put in here during the garage during the winter, so that the water does not splash all over the garage. You definitely will be splashing water out of this pool, so keep that in mind if you're putting it in an indoor setting. Putting the plastic sheeting around the pool does, however, pretty much keep all the water in the pool. Anyway, as I was saying, this thing, just heating it eats up an enormous amount of electricity if you've got those sort of temperatures. Just keep that in mind. So to reduce that, I've put foam, 2-inch foam R10 insulation underneath the bladder of the pool. This also serves to make a nice soft walking surface when you're in the pool. And around the sides, I've peeled it back, but normally all the way around the sides, I've put what's known as this sort of double bubble sheet bubble wrap insulation. You can see it's silver on one side, which is supposed to reflect the heat, and then white on the outward facing side. I also put, in the winter, I put some of this stuff on top of the pool as well when the cover is rolled up. And as you can see, there's a little bit of water on the cover. The cover, by the way, works quite well. I highly recommend it. It has a little bit of water in it, but the pump that comes with the cover does in fact work quite well. That's what you're looking at here. Before I go ahead and open up the pool, let me mention some of the accessories that I feel have been pretty useful with the pool. I did buy the mirrored aluminum here, that the little swim mirror to put on the bottom. That is pretty effective. However, it does require a lot of weight to keep it on the bottom. Once the jets are going, it very easily moves around. I found that with the current going, that it needs at least 20 pounds of these little dumbbells here to keep it on the bottom. I also purchased some nets to get larger debris out of the pool, and while the filters work okay, there's a lot of silt and stuff that goes down on the bottom. And what I found, this little pool blaster, which you can buy online, which is, I don't know, 150 bucks or so, works pretty well. I also bought this little foam floating thing that you see here. We have a toddler that we put in like a life vest, and he can play in the pool, and it's something for a little kid. It floats, and little kids up to 30 or 40 pounds can crawl on it. So we do use this pool for kids to play in, our kid to play in, and it works quite well for that. Let's see, moving around to the other side, talking a little bit more about this pool. In terms of getting into the pool, I found that the plastic ladder that comes with the endless pool was pretty rickety and did not work well. And also, if you have it set up according to direction, you can't actually close this pool cover here all the way, which is important in terms of insulating the pool and keeping the hot water in, since the water is much hotter than the air temperature. These are the steps that you can order. I thought that I was actually getting real cedar in the steps, but in fact it's just plastic simulated cedar, so keep that in mind if you're ordering those. They work pretty well. And then from inside the pool to get out, what I bought was, and it's, I don't know, 50 bucks or so, a little ladder that you can buy for ski boats. So this is a little ski boat ladder, and I put a couple of tennis balls on there, and so you can put that on the side and when you get in and use it. All right, so let me go ahead and roll back the cover here. And show you this thing in action. And all right. And while I do that, let me mention a little bit about if you actually buy this thing and you want to move the pool. It's quite a little ordeal to move this pool from here into the garage. Of course, you gotta. The first thing is to undo the attachments, remove first the rolling cover, and then undo the screws and remove the side decking. And then once you do that, what I did is because this takes a lot of water, I like to use the water over a couple of seasons, and so I bought like a $200 kiddie pool, and I moved the water from this pool into a kiddie pool that has a similar capacity, and then you can then pick up the frame and move it. You want to disconnect these lines from the basic frame. When you do that, these particular hoses, which are associated with the Fastlane unit, when you disconnect those have hydraulic fluid in them, so make sure you put the ends in a baggie or something that prevents the hydraulic fluid from getting everywhere. Let's see here. All right, so just looking at this, here is the what you're looking at here is the control for the endless pool. So if you're a few things to mention about this: the circulation system for doing the filtering of the water essentially operates completely independent of the Fastlane unit that's driving the current. And effectively, the electronics, both of these work off of the 220 volt 30 amp circuit, and in there, when you turn on the current, you're switching off the circulating filter and the heater unit and switching on the Fastlane unit. So that's pretty much how it works. There's really two separate units, and so if somebody was clever, you could probably set up, just buy the separate Fastlane unit, which is considerably less than the entire setup. And if you wanted to operate that independently and just buy this type of pool, which is a few $100 pool with and these are sort of standard spa circulating pump type of thing with a heater. So the real do-it-yourselfers out there could actually probably set this up for and just buy the Fastlane unit and set the rest up for quite less. Let me go ahead and fire the current up here. And if you look over on the wall, I have the this has got the it tells you roughly, it's basically a pace meter here telling you the pace that you're going per 100 yards I find it's maybe, I don't know, several seconds slower than what's shown on the clock is actually, I think, a little bit slower than what you're actually swimming in the end. So right now it's set at 125, and you can look at the current here, and I'll talk a little bit about swimming in this. Let me get up here a little bit higher. So, you know, it's definitely better than trying to swim into the jets of a hot tub, but it's also not like swimming, say, in a 2-mile-an-hour ocean current, okay, or against the current of a large river. You definitely get bounced around a little. I'm going to slow it down a little bit so you can see how it varies somewhat. This is at a 135 pace. This is down to a 140 pace. And this is down to a 150 pace. Like I said, it is definitely not like swimming in a laminar flow. Also, if you're somebody like me, especially when the current is quite fast in the sort of 110 to 120 range, really up until you get into the 140 or 150 range, when you're swimming in it, your body is disrupting the flow. So a disadvantage of the Fastlane compared to the more permanent structures is that the Fastlane pool here does not, in the permanent setups, if you buy the 20+ thousand Fastlane or endless pools that get installed in a permanent location, you'll notice that they have sort of a bench around the side that actually separates the return flow of the water from the flow going away from the Fastlane. And so this is a real disadvantage of this model, that they're not separated, and as a consequence it does drag you around quite a bit. Also, at the end here, the water the overall circulation is from going down and going into the Fastlane at the bottom and coming out at the upper level. So I find that it's pretty challenging to keep my feet up when I am swimming. I swim normally with a 2-beat kick. I have to kick pretty hard to keep myself level and keep my feet level when I'm swimming. As a consequence, I tend to I like to use a pool buoy or a couple of pool buoys when I'm swimming in the Fastlane here. And I also use a swim snorkel because when you start turning your head, even if I have reasonably good stroke technique, I think, but like I said, every time you move, the whole water flow reacts to you. So the next thing that you'll see is a shot from above with some demonstrations of me swimming freestyle, backstroke, breaststroke, and then using it with the pool buoys and snorkel like I like to use. Also, I wanted to mention that when you're swimming backstroke, in a normal pool, I have no problem swimming backstroke without nose clips, but in this pool, I find it necessary to use a nose clip to keep water from going into my nose. So overall, like I said, the next thing you'll see is some examples of me swimming, and I think you should see how I get drifted around and pulled around by the current. Overall, I guess I'd have to give this the Fastlane pool here kind of a B- grade. I like using it to exercise and work out. However, I had visions that this would be something that I could use to look at my technique and study my technique and things like that. But because of the instability of the current, I really cannot hold form, and I do a lot of pushing off, a lot of adjusting my stroke to the current, so I don't really feel that it's something you can use a lot for stroke technique, and it's not something that I think you could use with an age group swimming program or something like that. I have talked to coaches who have the sort of pro model of the endless pool that's permanently installed and has a wider flow coming out of it and a full return flow and is longer. And they claim that it really is like swimming in a laminar river current. So my overall recommendation is that if what you want is to be swimming in a nice even current and swim perfect strokes, that first of all you should get the pool as long as you can possibly afford to get it, and if you can afford it, try and get the higher level models with the wider flow base. But like I said, overall it works well enough. It's certainly better than swimming in jacuzzi jets, and it's way better than trying to swim with a tether in like a hotel pool. If you've ever tried that and you're a competitive swimmer, you will find that pretty quickly you're swimming in about 2-foot swells. So it works well enough. I'm pleased with it. It accomplished the goals that I set, which was to be able to swim outdoors in the summertime in Alaska in a pool that was in a body of water that was above 70 degrees. And the next thing you'll see is me demonstrating the pool. So I'm going to start off with freestyle with the pace set at 129 per 100 pace. I'm going to do backstroke with the clock set at the 143 pace. Breaststroke at a little bit slower pace, 146. Now freestyle, as I prefer to do it with a swim snorkel and pull buoys to keep my body flat and stable. At a 123 pace. Finally, backstroke with a pull buoy. Set on a 138 pace. And thanks and good night.